Hello everyone and welcome to the last video of this module. In this video, we will answer the question, what exactly is Power BI? So what is Power BI? Power BI is not just a visualization tool such as Tableau, and it is not just a self-service data analysis tool such as pivot table and pivot chart that you would see in Excel. And it is also not just a cloud-based tool for data analysis. Power BI is a combination of all those, of course, and it is much more than that. To know about all the different capabilities of Power BI, view the other videos in the Power BI section. Let's talk about Power BI data sources. As I said, with Power BI, you can connect to many different data sources, and there are really a wide range of data sources that are supported, and Microsoft is adding more and more data sources to the list every month. So these are some of the data sources that I could pop up into the slide, but believe me, there are really much more to it. So you can mash up the data as you want because it has a very powerful mashup engine. So basically you bring data from all these different data sources, put them into the mashing engine and transform and do whatever you want. So with this data, you can model the data, you can build your star schema or your snowflake schema, or you can even add measures, you can add calculated columns because Power BI has a powerful in-memory engine, and you can visualize the data with great range of data visualization tools and customize the tools to tell the story behind your data. And that's really important, right? It is not just showing the data visualization is not just popping the visuals behind which are basically showing the data. It's more than that. It's showing the story, what story the data is going to tell, so that your business users can take that story, can buy that story and make business decisions. So once you do that, you can publish your dashboard and your visualization tool in cloud and share it to those who you want. So you can work with on-premises as well as Azure or cloud-based data source or even Amazon data source. And there are many things that you can do with Power BI which you cannot do with others. So let's look at the components of Power BI. At the core, if you observe, Power BI is made of 6 major components, and these components are released in the market separately and they can be used even individually. So let's look at the components one by one. The first component is called the Power Query. And as you might already know, maybe you might have used the Power Query within your Excel. Power Query is a data transformation and a mashup engine. Okay, it transforms the data to whatever your desired cleansed state, whatever it can be. So you can download this Power Query as an add-in for Excel, or you can use the Power Query as part of your Power BI desktop. With Power Query, you can extract data from many different data sources, some of which we have seen in the previous slide, and you can even connect to different social media apps like Facebook, Twitter, and Slack, and read data from different databases. So you can fetch data from files such as CSV, your text files, your Excel files, and Power Query gives you a graphical user interface to transform the data as you need. You can add columns, you can change the data types, you can do some transformations for date, time, even text, and even many operations are available with Power Query. Power Query, after you do all these transformations, can load the resulting set into a Power Pivot model. And It uses a powerful formula language as code called M. It is nothing but the alphabet M, and M is more powerful than the GUI built into it. There are many functionalities in M that simply cannot be accessed through your graphical user interface. So next, let's talk about Power Pivot. Power Pivot is a data modeling engine which works on X velocity in-memory based tabular engine. The in-memory engine gives Power Pivot faster response times, and you can build your star schema or your snowflake schema with it. And again, you can do calculated measures, build a relationship between the different entities, and so on. So Power Pivot, it uses a language called DAX, or data analysis expressions, or DAX as I said, for building your measures and calculated columns. And if you have been working with Power BI for some time, you would find that you will be using DAX to write your measures. And DAX is a very powerful language, and there are a ton of functions that are available in the library. So next, let's talk about Power View. Power View is the main data visualization component of Power BI. Power View is an interactive data visualization that can connect to different data sources and fetch the metadata to be used for data analysis. Power View has many charts for visualization that you can use. You can do slicing and dicing of the data, and your Power View reports are very much interactive, and different elements in Power BI, or rather Power View, they can talk to each other. And the next component of Power BI that we are going to look at is the Power Map. So as I go through the list, you might have observed that I have used these things probably as an Excel add-in, and that's very true. Power BI is nothing but an accumulation of all these different technologies. So it's not a new technology that you might think, because these things were there earlier, and it's just falling back upon the previous knowledge, the previous different softwares that Microsoft has released in, and building a customized software known as Power BI. And Power Map, as the name indicates, is for mapping. Okay, it's for visualizing geospatial information in a 3D mode. So when visualization renders in 3D mode, it will give you another dimension in the visualization. So you can visualize a measure has a height of a column in 3 dimension, and another measure has a kind of a heat map view. So you can highlight data based on the geographical locations such as your country, your city, state, continent. And Power Map, how it works is it works with Bing Maps to get best visualization based on geographical data, either your latitude, longitude, or the name of the country, state, city will work as well, because it ultimately uses Bing Maps. Okay, so Bing Map has a database of what are the different streets, what are the different city names, and which coordinates map to the particular street name, and so on. So it takes the advantage of Bing Maps database to fetch you the location. And Power Map is an add-in, as you know. It is an add-in since I guess Excel 2013. The next component of Power BI that we will look at is the Power Q&A. This one probably you might not have used within Excel, so this is something you might be coming across new. So Power Q&A, as the name indicates, it's a natural language engine for questions and answers to your data model. So you have the data model, you build the data model, you build either a star schema or a snowflake schema. And once you have built your data model and deploy that into your Power BI service, you can ask questions against the data model and get answers easily. So your Power Q&A works with Power View for the data visualization. So how it works is, I as a user will go and ask some question. The Power Q&A will work with the data model, and it will work with the Power View to show or to automatically pop up a data visualization, and that visualization is the answer to the question that I have asked. Now that's awesome, right? I need not go and select all this. I just need to ask. So I completely need not be aware of the technology. I just get the model, I just go and ask, hey, what are the number of customers by city? Okay. And it will just pop up a visualization showing the different cities, or probably it can show a map showing the different cities and showing a bubble which represents the number of customers in each city. And for me, that's really awesome. The last one is Power BI Desktop, and we have discussed already about Power BI Desktop. We have seen that it is one of the ways in which you access your Power BI, and it's more for the developers, and it's a very powerful development tool. Your Power BI is designed to be interacted with graphical user interface, or GUI. So a business user can use Power BI to mash up the data without even writing a single line of code. Okay. On the other hand, developers can use data analysis expressions, or DAX, to write complex codes for their calculated measures. And one last thing I would like to add, that these different components of Power BI can be used in a combination. So you can mash up the data with Power Query and load the result set into Power BI model, or rather I should say Power Pivot model. You can use the model you have built in Power Pivot for data visualization in Power View, or you can use Power Map for data visualization. And Power BI Desktop combines the features of Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power View. So this brings to the end of the video and the end of the module. So in this video, you have learnt about what is Power BI, the different Power BI data sources, the different components of Power BI, and how they interact with each other to give you awesome visualizations and awesome insights.